Hello, I'm Cameron Sanderson, and welcome to LUTV Sports Break, where we will discuss interesting sports topics with our panel of sports reporters. So, we could talk about the Super Bowl picks that we made on the last sports break in the fall 2022 semester, but since that was last year, let's not bring up the old stuff. Moving forward, let's go. Brianna's picked her Fenty Fit, and it's time for halftime. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are ready to hit the gridiron for Super Bowl 57. Caesars Sportsbook has the Chiefs favored over the Eagles in the big game. In the Andy Reid Bowl, will it be Hurts or Mahomes? Cheesesteaks or barbecue? Panel, which Kelsey brother will be holding the Lombardi Trophy tonight? The one that lives in Philly or the one that lives in KC?
I like that spin on the Kelsey brothers, but man, I got to go Philly. I'm going to be honest. So we're going to look at the stats and what they've done so far in this postseason. They have held both opponents to only 7 points in both the divisional round and as well as the conference championship. They've scored 30-plus points against both the Giants and the top-ranked San Francisco 49ers defense in back-to-back weeks. And then along the length of the season, they were ranked in the top half of defensive rankings in passing yards and rushing yards allowed. And then also, you're talking about this defense and how they capitalize on opportunities. They forced 32 takeaways throughout the regular season, and that's a big deal going into a game like this against Patrick Mahomes and a pass-heavy offense.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. I really do like this Eagles defense. This Eagles defense has been the best in the postseason and has been best of all the regular season. But, man, when you're talking about Super Bowl, this championship game, you want experience when it comes to these players, man. And, yeah, the Eagles have players that were in that last Super Bowl one. But think about it, Mahomes and everyone else, they've already been through this. They already won one and lost one against the Niners and the Bucs, respectively. So this is their third time going. So now they're just comfortable with this. They're expected to be at this level now. So if it's going down to the wire, I truly believe that Mahomes will out-battle Hurts, and I believe that they will take the Super Bowl this year.
For me, this has been an interesting Super Bowl because this might be one of the most evenly matched Super Bowls we've had in a while. Both went 14-3. Both, I think, scored, it was 692 points in total, whatever it was, the same exact amount. Both had 6 All-Pros. Both had MVP caliber quarterbacks this season. They were both playing on crazy skill levels. There's 2 things that stand out, one for each team. For the Eagles, you talk about that defense, you brought it up. It's hard to ignore it, okay? I'm a Cowboys fan. I will give them their roses because they deserve it. They were so close to breaking the record for most sacks in a season. I mean, this Eagles front line has been insane. But like you said, they've been causing turnovers all season. But on the other side, where I think might end up being the way that the Chiefs can come out and win this, because I'm going with the Chiefs, it's the coaching. I don't think Sirianni is an amazing coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he fits in the system. He's got an amazing roster. That you can't argue that. Yeah. It just about any coach I feel like could go in there. It would be hard for them to mess this up. Andy Reid, like you said, has been here. This is now his 3rd Super Bowl. He went with the Eagles, twice with the Chiefs. No, this is his 4th Super Bowl. He's got the experience. He's the way better coach. And I trust Mahomes here with this offense against that Philly defense. I think they can beat him out. I'm going with the Chiefs.
I mean, I do agree that the Chiefs they've been there. They have the experience. They have probably the better coach going into this. But you talk about that defense that Philly has. That's definitely something that they have one up on Kansas City. But we haven't talked about the offense. Only the Chiefs scored more touchdowns, total touchdowns through that season than Philadelphia. So it's definitely going to be a shootout. But then you have to talk about, what do they say? Defense wins championships. And that defense that Philly has will definitely have more stops than Kansas City, and it's shown through the numbers.
I'll say you are talking about that great offense that Philadelphia has, but look at the preparation that the Eagles have went through to even get to the Super Bowl. They played the Giants, who they blew out in the first half, let's all be honest. Then they played a banged-up 49ers. Now, that's not fault of the 49ers or the Eagles, right? You got to play the game. Injuries happen. But still, look how the Chiefs, all of their games were close. That may be true, but think about it. All their games were close, but they still got the win, and they had to play better teams than the Eagles, in my personal opinion. So they already have this we know we've played tougher teams, so now we can. I feel like they think in their mind they already won. So I think they have that mental edge a little bit more.
I think to get to the playoffs, you have to be a good team.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to go out and say that the Eagles have played these light teams. Obviously, there's a big separation gap between the Giants and the Eagles. That was very clear going into that game. Yeah. And with the 49ers, everybody keeps bringing up, Brock Purdy was injured, their quarterbacks are. So what? This team has never been a team to worry about their quarterback at all. I mean, I'm very confident that any three of us could go out there and take them to the NFC Championship game. And so I'm not concerned about that. I do think that the Eagles have good prep. But I'm going to go with what you said because you're right. The Chiefs have had the tougher path. You know, they went and took on the Jacksonville Jaguars, came off a really big win.
Yeah.
And then went in there and beat Joe Burrow. Finally, Mahomes gets his win over Joe Burrow in a tough game, close game. A lot of people think the refs were on their side, but I think they just played good. I think that right now the Chiefs, both teams are hot, but the Chiefs are on a hotter streak because of the opponents they've taken down.
I mean, they've played a harder schedule in the postseason. Yes, this is true, but the Chiefs haven't done what the Philadelphia Eagles have to do in playing a defense that's ranked like the 49ers. They haven't had to play a defense that good in this postseason, so we don't know how they fare against a defense of that stature. We'll see that this Sunday in the Super Bowl, but I really just don't think that I don't think for 4 quarters they can match up with Philadelphia, knowing that they also have the firepower on the offensive side of the ball as well.
I would say, but you have to think about their experience. Think about all their young players that have helped them, scored a lot of points and everything. They haven't been here yet. Jalen hasn't been here. AJ hasn't been here. Mahomes, Travis, and everyone else. Most of that team is still from that first Super Bowl team and from that second Super Bowl loss, obviously.
I mean, they don't have Tyreek Hill.
True, but people thought this team wasn't going to do anything without Tyreek Hill. Now look at them. They're in the Super Bowl. Where was Miami? They're just chilling at home like us. But now they're just elevated and like, hey, we can do this without Tyreek, and we don't have to have the best defense, yeah, but our offense is just the most consistent in football, pure stop.
I do want to bounce off what you said where you brought up that, the Chiefs haven't had to prepare for a defense, quite on the skill level as the 49ers.
Yeah.
The Eagles haven't had to prepare for an offense on the level of the Kansas City Chiefs. And so that's going to be something that I am concerned about. Now, I do know that O-line for Kansas City, it's not amazing. It's okay. It's pretty good. And with a D-line that Philly's got, the edge rushers they got,
coming.
They're gonna come.
Yeah.
But if anybody can avoid it, it's Patrick Mahomes. That man could turn around, eyes closed, and just granny shoot it backwards 50 yards for a touchdown, no problem.
Yeah, this is true.
So,
Yeah.
Granny shoot it into that secondary that Philly has if you want to and see what happens.
well, I'm telling you, you got a guy like Travis Kelce, he's coming down with anything. And I think that team is going to be hard to stop offensively. But I agree with you, too. The Eagles' offense is pretty good. It's hard for me right now to sit here and pick a team because realistically, this could go either way. Yeah. And I wouldn't be shocked if either side blew the other one out.
I would say it's hard to pick two teams that are just evenly so balanced. Like when I was trying to think of my pick, I was like, dang, I see why the Chiefs are going to win, and I also see why the Eagles are going to win. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want to root against Jalen Hurts because he's a Texas boy. He grew up in the Houston area, Channelview and everything. He literally played against my high school. So I was like, dang, I kind of know how this guy is. You know what I'm saying? But when I see Mahomes with that whole offense and everything, I was like, man, I can't see how the Eagles beat this team right now. They just have the talent, experience, and everything.
I mean, Chiefs do have experience, but Philly has definitely shown that this season is no fluke.
Yeah.
They made it all the way to the Super Bowl, which many people did not predict. It's going to be a shootout to the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a close game. They're both good teams. Yeah. I picked the Chiefs earlier in the season. My preseason pick to win the Super Bowl was the Chiefs. That's mostly the reason I'm rocking with them. But even as a Cowboys fan, I don't think I'd be upset to watch Jalen Hurts win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset either because either one I would love to win. But I just personally think Chiefs would win it. Just in a very close game, though. I feel like 27-23, something like that.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, panel, and thank you for tuning in to LUTV Sports Break, where we will keep you in the game for every game. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for more Lamar University Sports. See you next time.